This dashcam footage shows two girls in an Uber before a frightening situation occurred. It was 3 a.m. and a white car drove around them to prevent them from continuing their ride. A man exited his vehicle and made a beeline towards the car. The girls yelled for the driver to go around. The driver then called the police to tell them what transpired. Thankfully, the girls and the driver were unharmed. What would you have done? This scary dashcam footage takes place in Glendale, California. The footage shows a Tesla suddenly stop before the man exits his vehicle. The man can be seen with a weapon as he comes up to the car and begins smashing the window. Miraculously, the window did not break. The man gave up and drove away. Later, the same man can be seen attacking another car, but this car was able to speed away. The authorities were notified, however the vehicle had no license plate, so they couldn't find him. The police did get similar calls days later, and this dashcam footage shows the same man.
Wow. What?
A few more days after that, the police were finally able to find and identify the man, 36-year-old Nathaniel Ronnemog, who already had quite the rap sheet and warrants out for his arrest. He also was wanted for several cases of stalking in 8 different states. The motive behind the highway attacks is unknown, but Nathaniel is in jail and can be bailed out for a mere $5 million. Serves him right. A trucker in Russia halted his truck on the side of the road to change one of his tires. Meanwhile, the same vehicle passed by several times. The driver walked up the road and grabbed a pipe in case the other driver had cruel intentions. Following this, that car drove by again and stopped. 3 men were inside and one of them approached the driver, attempting to get money from him for supposedly crossing their territory. However, the driver did not budge and called for backup from fellow drivers. Shortly after, several trucks came to the rescue. The scary men were surrounded and confronted. What happened next was crazy. The truckers left as they saved their fellow trucker from a potentially fatal situation. This dashcam footage takes place on the cold winter day of January 25th, 2021. The roads were extremely icy and it caused a horrifying scene. You might want to cover your eyes for this one. The 2 vehicles collided, causing them to roll down the ledge. I am thankful to inform that everyone involved made it out okay. No serious injuries occurred. They were able to get out of the vehicles under their own power. The roads were closed off and 2 tow trucks were required to get the cars out. Jeffrey Code was driving down a Massachusetts highway as he was listening to some tunes before something horrifying happened. A slab of ice out of nowhere got dislodged in front of him, hitting his car and sending him flying. The windshield quickly shattered. He now can't see anything, which forces him to pull over. Good thing he didn't hit anyone on the way, as he had to go past 2 lanes blindly. His side mirror and windshield wipers were also damaged. Jeffrey stated he might have been able to avoid getting hit had he slammed on his brakes, but it was too risky for losing control and colliding with other vehicles, including the one next to him at the time of impact, which kept him from swerving into other lanes. I'm just glad he's okay. In July of 2022, a flight in San Diego suddenly lost control. The plane wasn't close enough to an airport and air traffic control was notified. The 2 men controlling the plane were instructed to perform an emergency landing on a nearby road. Dashcam footage from this Tesla showed what transpired from multiple angles, and what happened next is crazy. The plane collided with a sign and was forced to keep driving to another intersection where it made impact with an SUV. One of the wings came off the plane and gas spilled throughout the road. The 2 inside of the plane and the SUV were both taken to a hospital, and once again, I'm grateful to announce that there were no serious injuries. The pilot was commended by authorities for their landing. Considering the circumstances, they did the best they possibly could. If he had lost control or the light on that intersection was green, this could have gone a lot worse. This dashcam footage takes place on April 2nd, 2015, and it shows Paul yearly on his commute to work before he felt nauseous out of nowhere. He began to get tunnel vision and realized something was wrong, so he disabled his cruise control. That's when he remembered everything turning black and passing out as he was driving. He just missed the power line pole, which could have had deadly results, and he drove unconsciously into a field. He then steered back towards the highway, but could not clear the hill, which is a good thing. As he began driving towards the fence, he finally got his hands back on the steering wheel and slammed the brakes. This was the only time Paul had blacked out. One of the cars driving by noticed him in the fields and stopped to help him. They called the cops and he was taken to the ER. After multiple tests and studies, it turned out he had a low blood pressure condition. Luckily, he was treated, made a full recovery, and is okay. This dashcam footage happened on June 25th, 2021. This footage took place in Waverly, Kansas in the middle of a summer storm. The car was behind a Grand Jeep Cherokee as they were headed towards an intersection. What happens next is insane. 4 lightning strikes struck the Jeep, cutting off all its power. There was a hole in the door handle and the tires got blown out from the electricity blowing through them to get to the ground. There was a family of 5 in the Jeep, and believe it or not, no serious injuries were suffered. Reason being, modern vehicles are shock-proof on the inside. However, the Jeep can no longer be drove. The electrical system was eradicated. Ronald Riley was en route to West Virginia before something shocking transpired. As he was driving down the road surrounded by forests on each side, he made a turn and noticed a large tree tumble directly in front of him. He did have time to brake, but the tree brought more down with it, forcing them to fall on top of the vehicle. Power lines to the road remained up, which allowed Ronald to back up out of the trees. It was reported there was more rain than usual leading up to this day, which may explain a lot, such as the reasoning for the tree's sudden fall. The truck took a lot of damage, but thankfully Ronald is okay. Police dashcam footage shows the St. Louis Police Department force a man out of his vehicle. Some suspicious activity took place as one of the officers informed his colleagues that they are, quote, in red. What this means is that they are aware cameras are on them and that they're being recorded. The video ended here because the cop turned the camera off. What were they trying to hide? Quite dodgy if you ask me. Mike Fissel was driving nearby Madera, Mexico and drove by something crazy.
I told them we're all together, so they'll wave you all through. There's a cop out here with us somewhere. In the red. That red car back there was a cop and all types. I couldn't tell. I mean, you know, it didn't say Madera. I didn't notice on the door of the truck. Otherwise, I would tell them I'm a friend of Alejandro, who's the police chief. But they
One person you can clearly see on the road with an AK and others in the bushes holding M16s. Mike passed an ongoing drug cartel. As the man with the AK waved his arm as to gesture him to keep moving, Mike could be heard as it sounded like he was reporting the situation. I would consider Mike extremely lucky he was able to keep driving, wouldn't you agree? This footage takes place in May of 2021. Michael Shackelford was driving down a San Antonio road before the unthinkable happened. As he's driving, a car door in front of him suddenly opened and a woman was screaming for help. Michael had work, but it didn't stop him from altering his route to follow the man and then calling the authorities.
Hi, I need police ASAP. I'm on 410 South by Ingram Park Mall. A lady is screaming outside her Ford, a gray Ford exiting Ingram Road right now. She's trying to get out of a vehicle and the guy won't let. No, she's not exiting. They got back on 410. I don't know. It says 410 South from Ingram going towards like Marbach area.
After some time had passed on the highway, the man finally took the exit. Seeing as they're going a much slower speed, the woman saw an opportunity and took it.
Military Drive, exit by the academy now. Okay. Military Drive. We're in the frontage road. What is this guy doing? She's screaming and kicking in the car. He's erratically, she's trying to get out of the car. She's opening the door. She's trying to jump out. He sped up and he couldn't get out. She jumped out! She jumped out! She jumped out! Ma'am, get in my truck! Get in my truck! Okay, I'm going to the police station right now.
He has my car, he has everything.
The one on Calabria, yeah.
The man and woman came across a police officer and got his attention. They went to a nearby parking lot where the medical crew arrived. They took the proper precautions and took her to a hospital close by. Luckily, she didn't suffer any serious injuries. This might shock some of you, but she was taken against her own will by none other than her husband. She was forced to yell to nearby drivers for help. Eventually, the husband was found and arrested. Thanks for watching. Stay vigilant, friends.